All right, welcome back, everybody. We have another Masters of the Universe Origins review with Thunder Punch He-Man. Better late than never. I've actually had him probably for like 3 weeks now, or maybe even a month. Just have not gotten around to reviewing him or getting him in front of the camera. So today's the day. Yeah, it's great having him. It's great. I'm glad they made him. Actually, the counterpart to him with Skeletor was this He-Man, this Skeletor that had a dragon on his back. I'm really interested. Is it Dragonfire Skeletor? I forget, but that one I really can't wait to see how they work him out. Just because, that dragon's mounted on his back. But back to this figure. My brother had him. He was really neat. He had these caps. If any of you people are the same age as I am, with these little ring things that had gunpowder in them, and you put them in fake guns and then make snapping, popping sounds when you fired them. And then they work great for the back of He-Man, where you used his, his waist twist, and it would pop the, little gunpowder thing and make a popping noise when he punched. So, yeah, very cool to have him. I really like this, the aesthetics of this figure. As I've been collecting Origins, and I finally get to go back and collect I never had the original He-Man. And the funny thing is, I always wanted him more than anything else. And after having him, and then all these battle armor He-Man variants, I'm starting to think that the original He-Man design is my least favorite out of all of them, which is kind of weird. But yeah, just a great looking figure. He's got his gold sword, his silver shield, and then they threw in that blast, that punching effect, and that was never in the that never came with the original figure. So let's take him out of the package and get a closer look at him. Actually, real quick before I even do that, this is the back of the card. That card art has a couple of the Snake Man army builders. I'm thinking this is what they're going to give us. They've supposedly it leaked that there's going to be a 2-pack of Reptilian, the Snake Men army builders. I'm really hoping that does happen. And like I said, I'm guessing this is what we're going to get, is these two. Just basically that black suit with a snake head on, and I really can't wait for. Having the 4 Snake Men that we have is pretty awesome. We got Tongue Lasher coming very soon, and just having an army builder on top of that. To have a whole society of Snake Men, that's pretty awesome. So wanted to show that real quick. Now let's open them up and take a look at them. All right, so this might be one of my least favorite He-Mans. He looks good, but there's a couple things that I'm not really a big fan of with this figure. The one thing is his hands. You can't see right now the power, the special effects on his fist, but they gave us one closed fist hand, and then an open hand that can hold on to the shield, as you can see right now. They didn't give us 2 hands, to where we have him holding the sword, and to where you can hold the sword and the shield at the same time. They didn't throw in that extra hand. Now, it's not too big of a deal because we got a bunch of He-Mans with extra hands, so it won't be an issue. One of the coolest things, like I said, about this figure is if you look at that back that used to pop open, you could throw those little rings I was talking about that made the snapping sounds, that had like 8 or 10 loads on it for making that punching sound. And then his waist twist. You guys have heard me complain before about how I haven't even complained because they haven't done it yet. But like for Mechanic, they never put in that vintage, the mechanics of how his action feature was, where you twist his waist and his head would pop up. And thank God they didn't do that with that figure, because you're not going to find another blue body like that to replace it with. But this one, if I take him and I do the twist, you can hear it pop. So we actually don't necessarily need those little gunpowder loaded pops that we had as kids, but so it still makes a popping noise. Unfortunately, no smell of gunpowder. That was one of my favorite things. You just had to smell of gunpowder when you're done. That's just the American in me. But if I want to pose this guy, there is no posing him. And you know, with the Thunder Punch, in order for him to look realistic, you kind of got to have that waist twisted to get the right look to it. Now, thankfully, you know, the cod piece that he came with originally is what we see here, and they didn't do like a white belt or red belt, or it's just his normal waist piece. So what's going to happen with him, probably before I take pictures, is I am going to pop his body apart and then put in, you know, one of the. I have an extra He-Man in case I do a fake or fight between two He-Men. I've always meant to do it, just haven't gotten around to it. But I don't like the fact that I can't pose this, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. But that's just what I would like out of my action figures. I don't want the classic action features if it inhibits any kind of articulation. So, I forgot to put the comic out, but this is the same one that came with King Hiss, of course, which makes sense. It's from that wave, and both figures are featured in that comic. But yeah, it just... let's see what else. There's not much else to say about this. You know, the Classics figure put that gunpowder thing I was talking about in the shield itself, which would have been a nice feature to have that in there. But we are talking about Origins figures here. We are not talking about the quality of Classics figures. Still a great looking figure. But I will be, like I said, I'll be pulling him apart and putting new pieces in there. So actually, I think that's what we're going to go to first is... just a He-Man shot doing the Thunder Punch. So let's go to that. So our first picture is just a cool shot of, you know, He-Man kind of punching in all the Snake Men, I guess, except for Cobra Khan just kind of going flying. And we're going to crop this down big time, but you know, you'll at least see King Hiss's face in there and one of his arms, and then the legs and backside of Rattler as they're going flying. So pretty easy, pretty fun shot. I will say the only figure that I've ever been disappointed with in Origins is Battle Cat. Battle Cat is without a doubt like really not as good as it should have been. They should have put hinges on his ankles just to give us that tiny little bit more of articulation. Just the fact that his ankles don't twist. It was a poor choice. If it cost extra $5-10, they should have articulated the paws. But I will say the next least favorite Origins figure that's a disappointment is this one. You can't take his waist piece with the action feature is locked in. You can't pull his waist apart. I did pull pretty hard. I didn't want to wreck it, but I did try pulling apart, and it does not come apart. I'm not chancing it any more than that. So that's pretty disappointing, because all you got to do is, I figured the top half would probably have the waist twist in it, and then I could just change out the torso and arms, and it would be good. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So what's the big deal? Take the feet off. You know, he has the red bracelets. I'll just pop the arms off and pop the feet off and swap him out with a He-Man figure, one of my plain He-Man figures. You can't do that either. The arms do not come out. This is the first time we've had a Origins figure where you can't pop the arms out. They do not come out, and if you look kind of in the joint, it does look like they are permanently fixed on there. So huge disappointment on that too. So I don't know, like if I want to articulate it, you know, that's not how a human's waist should be, or a biped. You know, waist should be, if you're punching, his left would be on the right of the screen, but his left leg should be forward. He's twisting at the waist, and unfortunately you can't do that with this figure. So huge disappointment. You know, first world problems, but still a huge disappointment for this figure. And I think if I take Flying Fist He-Man, I could probably, other than if I replace a torso with a normal He-Man, I could probably have an articulated Thunder Punch He-Man with that, but I really don't want to take that apart unless I have an extra one, and I don't think I'm going to get an extra one. Maybe I will, just to swap out the bodies, just because I guess I did get it for like $15 or something. Maybe I can find it for even cheaper someday. But pretty big disappointment on that part. But we'll deal with it for this video, with what we got. So let's go to another shot. All right, so this next shot is of Thunder Punch He-Man breaking some rocks in half, just kind of, punching into it and splitting open, and then having Cobra Khan and Webstor hiding behind the rocks. If I remember, these two kind of were, what would you call it, partners in crime in the comic, or in the cartoon, where these two are kind of always up to hijinks as, Skeletor's evil minions or whatever. So I actually had Clawful and Beastman down here, but it was just too much orange and red for one picture. So I decided to mix it up a little bit with some different colors. It worked very well. Then I use this effect right here, which is kind of it's just a power effect. It's meant to be laid on the side, but it works good for splitting this rock apart. So yeah, picture turned out pretty good. Yeah. So let's do one more picture before we call it a day. All right, so our final shot is basically, Sorceress bestowing the Thunder Punch powers to He-Man. It's something similar to this. I think it's a floating head of Sorceress. It's not actually her in her full form. And back then, actually, she was pink. She wasn't all white. She was pink. And that's kind of why I decided to go with this white, version of Sorceress versus, the classic, the cartoon Filmation blue and orange and all those other colors on her. I just thought it'd be a little bit more fun just to mix that part up. But again, yeah, just having He-Man having his fist in the air, and then, using another Ulanzi light with this tunnel vision thing on just to light up the fist itself. Just to give it a little something extra. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but this backdrop, it's so awesome. I'm going to do a Mini-Mate video next, and I think I'm going to have to use this backdrop for a few shots. Who knows what we'll use, maybe Fantastic Four or Guardians or something like that. No idea quite yet, but yeah, picture turned out really good. Guys, hit the like and subscribe button. Check out some other Masters of the Universe reviews and setup videos, and check out the description for my Instagram and Facebook page, and we'll see you guys at the next video. Bye now.
That's crispy.